Hey carnivores, how are you doing on this Saturday afternoon? Well, evening now, it's 6:15. Thank you for joining me on my weekend Apex Odyssey. Today was shopping day, which I mentioned before, and I'm trying to cut down on my grocery expenses. Sorry, I had to close that window. Trying always messing with glare. So what did I get for groceries today? I got just two things. I ordered a 10-pound roll of ground beef and a pack of chicken thighs, which once I got it ended up being 6 pounds and something. And altogether it was about $45 to $50. I don't know yet, because they did the, how Walmart does if they do a pickup or a delivery order for you. They give you, it might be this much or it might be this, that much, depending on probably on the weight of that package of chicken. So that is 16 pounds of meat, and that's over 2 pounds a day. So I've never been able to eat more than a couple of pounds, not even usually that much, but around 2 pounds a day of meat should be plenty for me. If it's not, I have other food left over from previous shops. So probably less than $50 on groceries this weekend. I'm gonna try to maintain the trend. There's just, I'm in the mood. I'm in that space where I don't want to bother with anything fancy. I don't need any interesting food. I just need nutritious food. And we're going to see this week, we're going to see how chicken and ground beef does. And again, I got a couple other things, and mostly ground beef though. Have a couple of steaks left in the freezer. I've actually got a 3-pound pack of bacon in there still. So if it just goes horribly wrong, I do still have it. Also did not weigh today, and that's a success for me. Talk about a non-scale victory. I don't want to do it right now. And I've been weighing every day compulsively for no reason that benefits me. So I decided to stop doing that for a while. At least not doing it daily. That's too much. But I have not weighed for, what was it, 3 days in a row. I'm just not in the mood to be tracking anything. I even took off my Fitbit. It's charging right now, but when I finish this video, I'm gonna pack it back up in the box. A few months from now, I may take it out, open it up again, and wear it and see what I'm doing. But I wore it for a couple of months, and I saw what the trends were. I'm in a pretty steady rhythm of how things are going. So there was not anything that was surprising on there. I was most interested in how I was sleeping, but I don't think it was very accurate. There were a couple of nights when it told me that I only slept, less than 2 hours, and I felt like I slept pretty good that night. And then other nights when I know I'm sleeping awful, and it's telling me I slept over 7 hours. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. But anyway, and also it was, this is from where I was wearing it also. Well, you can't see it, but it's made a rash on my skin. I need to give it time to heal up before I do anything else to it. So, again, in a few months I may try that again. But something interesting happened to me when I was picking up my grocery order today. Not interesting in the sense that it's never happened before, but it put some ideas in my head. So I was sitting out in the car and waiting for the guy to bring it out. I found that it helps not going into the grocery store. It takes away some temptation to buy stuff that you don't need or don't want. And just to spend money, which is another topic that we'll have to talk about sometime, is the habit of replacing one bad behavior with another. And, in my opinion, just spending money on stupid stuff that you don't need is a bad behavior. So not going into the store helps with that. So anyway, I was out in the parking lot waiting for the guy to bring my groceries and put them in my car. And he got out there and smacks on the trunk. And I'm like, yeah, can you just sit it in the back seat? Okay, so I just got a few things. I got those 2 packages of meat. Then I had to get some hair ties because I had one hair tie that I could find. My hair's gotten so thin since losing weight now, and it's starting to grow back. I have baby hairs around here, so I know that it's coming back in, but it's still really thin right now. So I only had one ponytail holder that I can use, and I needed to get another pack. So I got some ponytail holders. Since I bought a pack of chicken, I bought one of those instant read thermometers that you can stick in the meat and see if it's done or not. What else? Oh, I got a pack of ibuprofen because I get headaches sometimes, and that's what I do. I take a couple of ibuprofen. Now, before I started doing this, there were times whenever I would be taking 8 ibuprofen and 8 Tylenol a day, and that really messed up my liver. But here lately, since doing carnivore, I take 2 instead of taking 4 at a time, which is what it used to take to make headache or pain go away. I just take 2, and I maybe do that once or twice a week at the most. But I only had a few left, so I bought a little bottle of ibuprofen, the liquid gels. I prefer them because they work faster. And anyway, that's what I ordered. So maybe 1 or 2 other things, I don't remember, but anyway, it was just a very few things. And I was waiting in the car, and the guy started putting stuff in, and he's like putting multiple bags. I'm like, I guess they did like they usually do and put every single tiny item in its own bag. And then I heard a rattling, and I'm like, okay, that's the ibuprofen that I ordered. And he sent me on my way. It was in the back seat. I didn't look at it. And I went home and started to unload my car, and there was a bunch of crap in there that I did not order. It was the most strange, not really strange. Okay, it makes sense. It's some self-care items for most likely a lady. So not unusual in that regard, but there were 6 20-ounce bottles, big heavy bottles of Palmer's cocoa butter body lotion. What else? 3 feminine hygiene wash containers, like, this. They must have been on sale or something, I don't know. 3 of those. 2 of the biggest Vaseline containers I have ever seen in my life. Real Vaseline petroleum jelly. Plain. And a flip with a flip cap lid. It's like, what on earth? Are they stocking up? What are they stocking up for? What is going on? And then 1 bottle of women's vitamins. That's probably what I heard rattling. Anyway, I took all this aside, and none of this will I use at all. I have stopped using lotion, especially any kind with fragrance. I do have this that I've been using, and I'm not trying to sell this. I just got it. It is for babies, so the hope is that it has less, toxic ingredients than grown-up stuff. But it's basically got the same crap. But anyway, whenever I'm sitting at my desk, I like to put lotion on my hands. And this doesn't, like whenever I use other lotions, I end up being able to taste it. The whatever in there, the fragrance, It feels like it goes into my bloodstream and right to my mouth. Have you ever experienced that? It's a very weird sensation, and I don't like it. But this stuff is fragrance free, and it doesn't do that. In any case, I'm not putting Vaseline on my skin. I think it's terrible for you. It's made out of, it's petroleum based stuff. It's, you know, things that you use to grease your car parts. Hey doggy. I'm not using any of that other stuff. I don't take vitamins. I don't, yeah, none of that. So I decided what I will do is donate it. There's several local places that probably would sell that, you know, in their thrift stores, or give it to women's shelters or whatever. I'm sure that somebody can make use of it, but I cannot. But once I've decided to do that, I have decided that it is time for me to donate my wheelchair and my rollator that I got whenever I was, so I got that probably in 2019 or 2000, yeah, probably 2019, possibly 2020. Because I don't think I'm going to need it anymore. I know I'm not going to need it anymore. I got a really good one, and the rollator I did use a lot. The wheelchair I just use for moving around in the living room, but you know, it's been taking up space in my closet for years now, and it's time to let it go, to, you know, let it be a blessing to somebody who can use it, because I'm not going to use it. I don't need it. My health is good. This dog. And I'm ready. I'm ready to let it go. It's hard for me to let go of something because they were really expensive, both of them. I had to get stuff, you know, for a max weight of 500 pounds, so it's not just like the regular one. I think that wheelchair cost maybe $600 or so, and the rollator was also a heavy duty one that would hold up to 500 pounds, and it was, you know, at least twice as much as just your regular rollator. And that's a walker that has wheels and a seat that I used around the house all the time. I mean, every time I needed it a lot, and I'm ready to let it go. I don't need it anymore. I can get where I want to go. You know, I can walk around just fine, and I'm ready. I'm nervous about doing it. I always have in the back of my mind, you know, it costs so much. What if I need it again someday? And if I do, or I'm not going to, but if somebody else needs one, we'll just buy one. No point in letting it take up space in my life and reminding me what I was doing 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I'm ready to get rid of it. And also, speaking of bad sleep, I had been having like 3 or 4 days in a row, I got terrible sleep. I kept waking up every couple of hours to go pee. I felt like I was awake the whole night. I was having these very vivid dreams, but it felt like I was dreaming and awake the whole time, and it was miserable. And I finally figured out what it was. Excuse me while I quiet the dog down. I realized it was because I was taking this magnesium. That was the only thing that was different. I was taking a magnesium supplement, and I don't take, you know, I don't take electrolytes all the time. I eat a lot of salt, and basically that's it. And then I stopped taking that, and those symptoms went away. So that's very strange, don't you think? But something to keep in mind if it ever happens to you, if you're trying to get your electrolytes sorted out and you end up freakishly unable to sleep for several nights in a row, It could be because of magnesium supplement. And this was just a multiple types of magnesium. It was magnesium glycate and malate and oxalate and a couple of other things. I had to stop taking that because it's obviously not agreeing with me. So now the only thing I'm going to be taking is the vitamin D3 K2 supplement, because I'm not going outside as much, and when I am, it's darker and colder. So yeah, that's all good. Pardon the pause. My dog is still, pause. My dog is still trying to get my attention, make me play with her. Just give me 5 minutes, honey. So, what have you been doing about electrolytes? That is something that I worried about a lot, because everybody's like, you need electrolytes, you need electrolytes. And I've never used any of those water additives or anything like that. You know, I tried them before, and I found them very, very gross. And I mean, I couldn't even drink them even. And this was a few years ago, not recently. Once I started doing carnivore, over a year ago now, I haven't done anything like that. No sweet taste, period. And the unflavored stuff is so nasty that I can't stand it. I mean, I didn't like the flavored stuff either. But, so I also had tried these drops that were electrolyte drops. I would try putting them in my water, could not stand it, period. I mean, I couldn't drink whatever it was. And it's like the more water I put it in, the more prolonged was my exposure to the grossness. What I did end up doing was getting a little shot glass and putting a couple of tablespoons of pickle juice in there, and then squirting a serving of that electrolyte mix in there and just shooting it back real fast. But I don't use pickle juice anymore. I mean, whenever I first started doing carnivore, I had a couple of things like that I would, you know, people say they sort of eased themselves into it, and I didn't really. I went cold turkey on most things, but pickle juice I was allowing, and you know, seasoning on my food. I had some adobo seasoning and a couple of things like that I would still use, but since then, you know, I just lost my taste for all that kind of stuff pretty quick and haven't used it anymore. So yeah, I've never been much on taking extra electrolytes, but again, I do eat a lot of salt, so you know, I don't ever recommend that people do electrolytes because I never needed them, but yeah, everybody's different. But I do find it interesting that in spite of all the salt that I use, my sodium level every time I get it tested is either low or just barely above the line to being normal. You know, it's low normal. And my dad was also a very heavy salter. So I wonder if I just got, you know, some genetic inclination to eat more salt and to require more sodium. This is weird. Bodies are different and do crazy stuff. So what did I do for dinner tonight? I wanted to tell you about that too. I got some chicken thighs, and I wanted to do heart attack chicken. Obviously, what else am I going to do with it? But I didn't want to buy any lard because it's got a bunch of weird stuff in it, and I didn't want to spend $30 and wait 2 or 3 days for that, for one of those buckets of tallow to get here. So, and I've been collecting my beef fat drippings for a while. So I had some. I had enough. And this is not anything fancy. This is just from the ground beef that I cook. Once I'm finished cooking it, strain it through a paper towel and save it in the refrigerator. And I had enough of that to get like this much oil in the bottom of the pan, about halfway up the side of those 4 chicken thighs. I cooked 4. I ended up with 10 in the package. And I made 2 3-packs and a 4-pack, and I was just cooking the 4-pack today. And I figured I would eat all of those. Because, you know, if we, in the past when we'd gotten KFC, I could eat 2 or 3 pieces of chicken plus mashed potatoes and gravy, plus macaroni and cheese, plus 1 or 2 biscuits, plus probably some potato wedges without batting an eye. So I had my little baking pan that I had drained my chicken into and just took it to the TV so I could watch Doctor Who while I was eating my chicken. And by the time I finished my second chicken thigh, I was stuffed. I mean, I'm still stuffed. This was maybe an hour or so ago. I'm like plumb stuffed. So I put the other 2 in the refrigerator. And that's very interesting, you know, just a chicken thigh cooked in good beef fat I'm surprised how filling it was. Normally that wouldn't have been that filling for me. Not, you know, according to my history, so that went great. And I'll have the other 2 for breakfast tomorrow. I've got some ground beef already cooked that I'm gonna eat. We'll eat the rest of the day, and then I got some more ground beef thawed out so I can cook it for the next couple of days. And I should be fine. I'll let you know how it goes if I am able to stick with the carnivore on the cheap. But, you know, it can be done. That is a lot of meat for less than $50. 16 pounds, whatever it was. That's a lot. And it should be plenty. I am trying to grow my channel now. So I would appreciate it if you would like, comment, and share. If you know anybody else who's thinking about this, some plus size lady like me who's miserable, or you know, just anybody who it would benefit. But I think my story is, you know, most relatable to people with a lot of healing to do, who are really more concerned about doing that than losing weight. Even though I have lost a lot of weight. I've lost 85 pounds just doing carnivore. As I mentioned before, altogether I've lost over 130 pounds. So I'm not messing around. I'm here to do it forever. So yeah, do those things for me. If you haven't subscribed, do that. And follow along for the next one. Click the notification bell if you like to get notifications. I don't ever want to get notified of anything. but if you do, there's that bell down there just for you. And keep up with me. Let me know what your struggles are, what kind of things that we could talk about that would be helpful to you. And I know that I'm not looking at the camera, but I can't. Something's wrong with my eyes. I can't focus on anything that close. Anyway, catch up with me. I hope you have a beautiful weekend and many beautiful days to come. See you next time.